Rockets at home, 29-12. It's VanVleet. And this is Thompson over Butler. And it's VanVleet for three.
Hills between those three, they've got to meet 7 to 8 threes to be competitive on it.
Quick blitz, post is in, they go inside, Adams will drive, he can't tip it through, poked away on the floor, picked up by Eason, off to VanVleet. Houston controls, shot clock at 9, VanVleet.
Talked about them winning and winning. This is a steal by VanVleet.
He got it, the dive, the tussle, the grappling. It's a jump ball. He knows about Curry, he knows his team well, and with him playing, they are a sensational 41-19. When VanVleet doesn't play, only 11-11. Here's post outside, open for three. Hit a couple the other night in that play-in game in San Francisco against the Grizzlies. VanVleet, the crossover, the drive, and on the fly, he puts it up. Payton will grab it. Wide alley, thank you. Here's Pajemski, long three. Brooks defends, rebound, VanVleet. So the starting center, Sengun, 8.6 rebounds. Second quarter is underway. Rockets with the ball, 3-point lead. Sengun on top. Post in the way. Rockets are coming the other way. VanVleet will fire on the fly. A three and out of bounds. It is off of Golden State. They had a 30-point game against the Clippers, 38 against Memphis. The three is hoisted right there by he'll backpedal and spin and gyrate and kick. It's VanVleet on the wing. He's a crafty player, but he's rugged too, one of the strongest on the team. Plus three. They go inside, getting tangled up. It's loose, vacuumed in by Butler. It's Sengun on top, and they got Butler on him. Good move by VanVleet. Right there on the switch is Butler, and Sengun will sneak inside for two. He's got a rocket for an arm, and
yes,
he's
he
the
does.
whole future for the Texans. VanVleet, Sengun inside, got it on the doorstep. Twirls into Green, out to VanVleet, works on Moody. Rebound inside through the hands of Smith. Picked up by Brooks. Off the glass for two. The curling Sengun. VanVleet lets it fly. Curry with the rebound.
Jalen Green, a combined 2 of 10 and 4 points.
So Golden State only allowed 34 points in that first half. Butler's got 15. Sengun inside, cutting Brooks. Rebound Thompson. Kicks to VanVleet. Here's a three. It's a Curry rebound.
First it was Butler, now Stephen Curry. The degree of difficulty on that three.
Up and in with a nice move inside. And finally, Houston gets some baskets there. Eason finding the bucket. It's Curry again who does things that we just did not.
The Rockets.
Gary Payton has come in, taking the place of Pajemski for the Warriors. Sengun, corner, VanVleet, triple, good block right there. Adams and Brooks. Cutting VanVleet, and inside Adams, who gets it to go on a nice feed from VanVleet. It's picked up inside, grazes the rim. It's picked up there by Adams. Another offensive rebound.
He is absolutely dominating on the offensive glass.
VanVleet hard to the hole. 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals for Butler. It's a long three by VanVleet. And it's a rebound by Eason. It's tapped away by Hill.
Eason has been great defensively all game long.
3, VanVleet. They're looking for a spark, and Golden State just lost the ball. It's VanVleet. He does have a lot of playoff experience. He'll put this over Butler. Miss it all. Thompson tried to push it back up. Rebound inside. It's picked up by Smith. He tried to get out of a lot of entanglement. He has been a machine cleaning the glass tonight for Houston. Driving is Smith. Oh, they're on a roll. Eason on the move, a floater on the fly. Thompson with the leaping rebound. VanVleet 3. No! Rebound inside, collected by the Warriors. VanVleet 3 of 15. inside, rebound by Smith, torn away by Golden State. Shot clock at 7. Amen Thompson into Curry. Now Green, now kicks. VanVleet, three!
Finally, he had been struggling. 1 of 10 up to that point.
With a minute and a half to go. VanVleet will take it. Inside Thompson. VanVleet with another three. And it's a rebound by Draymond Green. Game 1. Wow! VanVleet with a three. Rebound by Amen Thompson.
Away, it's Butler matched up with VanVleet.
And we saw the start. VanVleet was on Draymond Green. They got the switch to get Jimmy Butler into that match. Already done your job.
Rockets turn it over. Pajemski running the break, and Moody fouled by VanVleet.
But what great hustle by Fred VanVleet of the Rockets.
Butler backs down Brooks. Those two wearing microphones for us tonight. That's going to be a fun listen, I think. VanVleet guarding Butler. Shot clock down to 7.
Manipulated to get to that matchup twice already.
Pajemski rises up. The lefty missed it.
Back in the game doing less rest, but he has a little margin for error. Both teams, by the way, open in this quarter in zone defense.
Turnover, Golden State.
Scored them by 4 in their 11 minutes in the game. Did you see what they did in the regular season?
VanVleet can't get it to go.
They get extended pretty well. The Warriors want to screen those guards as much as they can against the zone. And then Sengun all the way out.
And a 7-0 run here for Golden State. After the Rockets led by 20, VanVleet gets Kuminga on his back.
Fred VanVleet shooting his first free throws of the series. He struggled from the floor. He's only taken 1 shot today, but 4 for 20 in the series and 2 for 14 from 3.
Well, that old saying, raises all boats. He certainly does. VanVleet with that championship pedigree with the Toronto Raptors in 2019 to surround these talented young players, and they hit it right on the head. Rockets have drafted well all those down years. Dumps it back in to get the switch they want. VanVleet calling for it. He lets it fly. And no. And it's going to be an offensive rebound.
Love to get it under 10 by the half.
Adams soon to be checking back in. VanVleet shakes, healed. And VanVleet's got another answer. 0 for 4 in game 1. He has responded in a big way here in game 2. Payton in the corner, missed it, and there's VanVleet with a rebound. Had 3 fouls in the first half. Brooks with the block.
Brooks will probably be an all-defensive team guy.
VanVleet to the corner. Amen Thompson who picked up those 3 fouls early, and now VanVleet on the reset, no good. Sengun is there with a follow. Taking on the 7 seed, the Warriors coming out of the play-in, beat Memphis, and out of that timeout, 22, the Celtics. Warriors won that title. That one no good, back iron almost went. End of the 3rd. Rockets with the number 2 seed this year, and Warriors turn it over. First possession of this 4th quarter.
Curry checking back in. He can't rest for too long. I'm surprised he's coming back.
Is down to the tour. Fred VanVleet, his second basket. Timeout Warriors.
Quentin Post this year, I mean, incredible.
Post fouls VanVleet on the shot.
What'd I say? Not a great pick, Mike. He's out there for this stuff. His defense is rebounding, his energy, and
Turnover. Green lays it in.
I mean, we've seen it many times. 18 with 5 minutes to go. There's plenty of time, especially when you have a Steph Curry on the floor.
I saw him score 17 points in a 5-minute overtime in Portland once. And it'll end up being 25 minutes for Kuminga.
And I love what Ime Udoka's doing. Taking no chances right here and keeping his starters on the floor. Now after that 3-pointer, and they go back up 20. But he did not pull the plug quickly. When you get a win in the playoffs.
By Pajemski. So Green guarding Sengun to start the game, unlike Butler, who guarded him a couple of nights ago. VanVleet has had a miserable series so far.
But I think Pajemski's got to be more aggressive on the offensive end, looking for his offense.
Suffered from food poisoning in game 2. Played limited minutes. VanVleet 2 for 2 from deep.
Played 14 minutes. But already he has been aggressive offensively, and Golden State needs that.
VanVleet draws the foul. And they're going to count the bucket.
Played 14 minutes. But already he has been aggressive offensively, and Golden State needs that.
VanVleet draws the foul. And they're going to count the bucket. Golden State Warriors fans remember Fred VanVleet from the 2019 NBA Finals as a member of the Toronto.
For ways to get Steph Curry open.
Green working against Podziemski. Good help by Draymond Green. VanVleet pulls again. That one rims out. VanVleet right in Curry's chest. And he comes up with a steal. Suffocating defense. 3-on-1 the other way. The lob, the finish. They put 2 on the ball. Here's VanVleet. Guarded by Hield. Shot clock already down to 6. VanVleet over Hield with the mid-range. And it's pure. But it comes off to Jalen Green.
But good activity, even though he didn't have inside position by Tari Eason.
VanVleet playing a little bully ball inside. Eason with the follow, rebounded by Curry. And the Warriors out and running, filling the lanes. Got a whistle, and a foul is going to go against Houston and VanVleet.
Of messing with combinations, having to do a lot of different things to find the right way to win a game.
Hield couldn't get the bounce, and it comes off to VanVleet. VanVleet with a good start offensively. 4 of 6 already with 11 points. Adams couldn't make the catch. Warriors off and running. They have a 2-on-1. Moody got it. Ian Adams on the front line along with Eason. VanVleet lacerates the lane and draws the foul. The Toronto Raptors impressed them. Worked his way up with Raptors 905.
And he was a big-time winner at Wichita State. He played for Greg Marshall there. They had an undefeated team going into the NCAA tournament his last year. He played alongside Ron Baker, who...
In that first quarter, just 2 points on 1 field goal. Payton, post, blocked inside, and it comes off to VanVleet.
Post is more of a perimeter shooting big man than he is a guy who's going to finish around the bucket.
VanVleet missed the lefty lay. And there's Hield with a 2-on-1. Curry.
State's getting some open shots. They're not knocking him down.
On the lob, Thompson. Boy, even he couldn't get it in that orbit.
I didn't think he could throw it that high.
With pace into the front court. An audacious 3 comes off the rim. Here goes 2 for 2, well over 90% during the regular season from the line. 3 on the clock for VanVleet. Pulls the 3. And it comes up short.
He's upset going after the official. That's going to be a technical.
Oh, yeah, he earned that one. He wanted that one. Win against the Lakers.
Got the switch now.
Moody tapped it away. Shot clock at 1. VanVleet got it off. Put it on the rim, but Moody takes it away.
Is on defense. He stays in front, draws a lot of charges, gets a lot of loose balls.
Thompson cross court. VanVleet for 3. Knocks it home. They run an inverted pick and roll. Here's Podziemski from 15. Got the roll. There's the confidence. And the lead is up to 8. 2 minutes to play here in game 3.
When Curry cuts, he just clears out so much space. And Podziemski took advantage of it.
Thompson hit Sengun. Green with the block. And he stepped out of bounds. Draymond Green, who finished 3rd. Free throw shooter in the association. Steph Curry, what a screen by Green. Sengun ran into him, and it comes off to VanVleet in transition. Knocked away. Green with the steal. Payton, room service.
VanVleet has had trouble scoring, although in the first quarter in game 1, sensational with 13 first quarter points. Green watches Sengun. And a good way to start, points in the paint, huge for Houston. Rockets won game 2 by 109-94 count. Brooks will work inside, go on Hield and get the deuce in the lane. So they're scoring inside.
What a start offensively for him. 8 points on 3 of 6.
Rockets had made the playoffs for 5 years until this year. Big 3 by VanVleet. He needed that.
Really likes to attack the 2-3.
Well, this is as close as the Rockets have been since the game started. Moody from Butler.
Well, right now what Steve Kerr is doing, he's saying, I got to lead.
9 players on the roster, first playoff experience. Like Sengun. There's a foul. It's offensive. It's against the Rockets.
On VanVleet.
Yep. Up. VanVleet. Step back, 3 over Butler.
That's huge. Again, you mentioned this coming into tonight.
You don't want to throw through bodies. They're in that zone. Look to drive that zone and screen it.
VanVleet for 3. Red VanVleet, he's a champion in Toronto.
Curry back on the floor and the bench for the Warriors.
Post at 2 points. There's a long shot. That won't go. And Post with a 3. It's picked up by Brooks. VanVleet down court. Green will sail in for 2 with nice rocket transition. After going 1 of 6 from 3 in game 3. VanVleet 3.
How about the answer?
Final half minute of the first half. Which has had a lot to it. Another turnover by Curry. Here comes VanVleet swaggering. Sengun will finish inside and give the Rockets. Sengun and Green. Double by Pajemski. VanVleet is free for 3. Sengun doubled. He's got it here. Shot clock at 5. On the side, healed 3. Brooks quickly to VanVleet. They wanted to move the ball. It's more pace. A running 3.
There it is.
VanVleet with another triple. It's VanVleet driving on Curry. Wheels inside. Ball poked away. Turnover there. And Hield will get it off to Pajemski. A collision and the foul. Jackson Davis will be out there. Double by Pajemski. VanVleet a 3. Another one. They're leaving him open, and he is nailing them. 6 of 8. Has scored 15 since. 18 for the game. Pajemski, his 3. VanVleet, the leaping rebound.
And I know how important it is to this team. There's a familiarity there from the 2019 team there when the Toronto Raptors knocked out the Warriors. He was the X factor then. He knows he can be the X factor, and now he's the veteran. So he's relentless.
21 for Pajemski, 5 threes. Here comes Sengun. He'll muscle his way inside. Careening for the shot off of different bodies, defending and a foul.
A run to their coaches to get a review here.
For the Detroit Pistons in a tough series against the Knicks. VanVleet 3, rattles out. It's Smith the rebound and tried to force it up and a foul. And Sengun will go against Draymond Green. Houston by 1, VanVleet at 3, ring it up. Fred VanVleet with another 3. Shot clock at 4. Makes a move. Drives inside from behind. It was knocked away. Great Golden State defense. And Butler will take it.
That was all Brandon Pajemski.
Butler angling in. Cut. Sengun with 29. It's VanVleet for 3. Bullseye! What a shot to tie. 8 threes. Sengun is going to inbound. Here comes VanVleet. On the move, trying to tie. The Golden State Warriors have held on to take a 3-games-to-1 lead in the series.
Green for a nice, easy 3.
So VanVleet was terrific in game 4. 25 points, missed that start. VanVleet steps back. Knocked around. Curry clears. Quick outlet for Keith. Amen Thompson goes right into Curry. Good movement. VanVleet. And it is all Houston at the start.
Great defense by the Rockets.
Steven Adams is checking in for the Rockets. VanVleet. They are scalding hot here at the start.
And then knocking down the triple.
Santos, who played only 1 minute in game 4 the other night in San Francisco. Here's VanVleet. That's a deep 3. Saw Jalen Green back on that Houston bench on encouraging sign. I'll show you that last replay.
They're doing it in the half court. They're knocking down threes, and they're getting to the charity stripe. Getting to the stripe early. They're doing it in the half court. They're knocking down threes, and they're getting to the charity stripe. Getting to the stripe early allows your guys to build confidence. You see the ball go in, controlled every facet of the game, cannot turn the ball over, and especially live ball turnovers against this talented Golden State team, as VanVleet is.
Moody working against Sengun. Shot clock is down to 4. They got to hurry. Now to Looney. Looney's going to shoot. The tip by Butler. So Houston at one point was up 30. It's cut down to 20. Shot clock down to 4. VanVleet contested 3. My goodness. And here we go. Final 7 seconds. VanVleet. Golden State is out of fouls. VanVleet to the rack. Just masterful. Make this remotely interesting to try to give themselves a chance.
Oh my goodness.
VanVleet stopping on a dime. Shot clock at 6. VanVleet inside.
He is fun to watch.
VanVleet again. High arching floater. Steven Adams. One of the great offensive rebounders, getting some extra possessions for Houston. Adams on the box play. Smart pass. VanVleet. So they have proven that they are resilient.
Well, in so many people's eyes this season, they did not have the Rockets as a number 2 seed.
2 seed again since that 17-18 campaign. The team that got to the conference finals, eventually losing to the Warriors. Shot clock at 5. Here comes VanVleet. Looked like Knox got a fingertip on it. Adams, look at the big working hard.
And again right here, the Rockets, who have played with pace all night, now are being pressed by Golden State. Display, especially in this fourth quarter.
Sees access to all the drama. Download the NBA app today, powered by Microsoft. Into the corner, Spencer. Another offensive rebound, this time Knox. Turns, shoots. And then it's Key, misses the layup.
Goodness.
Still no sign of his starters yet. He's going to come back with Santos. Buddy Hield is going to come into the game. So
it's been very good and impactful of them. And then the Rockets turn it over. There's Moody in the middle of it all again. And a good closeout of Hield by Sengun, and then.
And Spiro, I wouldn't be surprised if Golden State maybe tried a little 3-quarter full court press. Detroit native, very partial.
Tari Eason in tight.
Dylan Brooks, the offensive rebound, kept alive by Sengun. VanVleet open in the corner. That's good. VanVleet has been absolutely scorching the last couple of games. Curry guarding VanVleet. Sengun gets it inside. Couple of fakes. Bank shot is good. Alperen Sengun off to a nice start. Couple of buckets. Quiet him down a little bit after the last couple of games. Now on the switch, Curry guarding him. VanVleet finds some room, fires away, shot won't go. Draymond Green. Bajemski tracing VanVleet. Adams goes inside. Ball is kind of coming out of his hand. Was been up with a shot and still got it to go. 3% for the Rockets. Bajemski fights over an Adams screen. Not an easy thing to do. VanVleet gets inside and draws a foul.
Right, and I think sometimes when you have the situation earlier in the game, you get the technicals or flagrants, that's when it gets the kind of crowd to lower their energy.
8:30 p.m. start. VanVleet knocking down the free throws. He now is 15 for 15 from the line here.
Now he walks right in the first time he touches it. There are no wasted minutes in the NBA.
Oh, no, and Steve Kerr is laughing. He's like, okay, I guess you're feeling it, young fella.
Oh, VanVleet feeling it as well. Looking for an opening, fires it inside to Butler. Moody drives high off the glass, can't get it. Butler tried to keep it alive. Looking for an opening, fires it inside to Butler. Moody drives high off the glass, can't get it. Butler tried to keep it alive. looking for an opening, fires it inside to Butler. Moody drives high off the glass, can't get it. Butler tried to keep it alive. They're 3 for 7 from downtown. A whistle and a foul. VanVleet.
All right, thank you, Ine. Mike.
All right, Lisa. Udoka in his second year as head coach here has done just a fabulous job. Not just turning it around with victories, but changing the...
Then they stop trapping you. When you beat them is when they stop trapping you. And so that's where it became impressive to watch VanVleet handle that.
Well, I was just about to say great defense.
You're shaking your head, Mike Breen. You're disagreeing with me.
I think what has not been called a lot during these playoffs often, but I think that's where the majority of the fouls are coming. So VanVleet knocks down Moody again. Pressure. Help from post. VanVleet gets away from the pressure. Jabari Smith off the bounce. Pull up, 2-point jumper's good. It went on in the extracurricular pushing and shoving and the technicals as they turn it over. Adams said, keep it basketball, mate. Don't make the game lame. Here's the toughest guy out there. It's Moody knocks. Curry playing with 3 fouls. Gets inside, flips it up, and draws yet another foul. Quite the answer here from the Warriors after the Rockets threw a punch.
Yeah, this zone has flummoxed Houston in this last couple minutes.
Nice feed inside, VanVleet. Like, how much do you think of that during the course of the game, that this is it, we could be out?
I think leading into it, as you see VanVleet knock down that 3.
VanVleet guarding Draymond Green. Butler already a couple of buckets here to start the third. Brooks guarding him. Butler jump shot, misses. VanVleet grabs the rebound. Boards, 4 assists. Shot blocked, but a foul. Buddy Hield call for the foul as we go to Lisa.
Their points off of our turnovers. He said we feel like we can get out and run on them and get good shots.
VanVleet, one of the great stories in the NBA.
Are going to be there for the rest of the Warriors, and that's by design, looking to take away Curry.
High screen by Sengun. VanVleet to Amen Thompson from the elbow, and he makes the jumper.
His second rejection. VanVleet pulls up, nails the 3. Fred VanVleet now with 18 points. It's the consistent call all season long, regular season and playoff. The landing area. Sengun foul, count it, and 1. Lobs it into post. Back to Bajemski. Off the bounce, the spin move. Stops, hesitation, missed the layup. VanVleet the rebound. Into the hands of VanVleet. Terrific hustle from both teams. Smith steps back and hits the 3-pointer. Checked his feet, and Jabari Smith knocks it down. One of the best at that as well. Plays catch with VanVleet. VanVleet down a lane, throws it up. Post may have gotten a piece of it. Adams comes up with another offensive rebound. Holding on, Eason kicks it out, VanVleet. Smith tries another 3, hits another 3. Jabari Smith, another big shot. Rockets playing a good, smart game, try and keep their season alive. VanVleet gets inside, flips it up, and gets the bounce. 20 points for Fred VanVleet. They can't do the hack of Adams anymore this period. Jabari Smith, another corner 3. That won't go.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, Lisa. Fred VanVleet knocks down a 3 and the foul to start the 4th.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, Lisa. Fred VanVleet knocks down a 3 and the foul to start the 4th.
The individual that has 20 points going into the 4th quarter, you might want to...
The rebound, his 9th. 6-point lead for the Rockets. VanVleet again gets inside. Layup can't get to the go. Ball tipped out, but Jabari Smith right. VanVleet again gets inside. Layup can't get to the go. Ball tipped out, but Jabari Smith right there to get it. VanVleet clapping, calling for it. 3-pointer can't get to the ball. And Adams is fouled. VanVleet. Gary Payton. VanVleet finds Adams. Adams in time. Sengun back to VanVleet. Fires up a 3. Draymond Green tips it to Butler. Battling for the rebound, throws it right to Sengun. Back to VanVleet, puts up a 3. It's good. Fred VanVleet knocks it down. Largest lead of the game. New largest lead is 14. Steph Curry a 3. Back of the rim won't go. Hield had it knocked. Bajemski finds Draymond Green. Butler Right side, three-pointer, back of the rim. VanVleet another rebound. State has scored 5 points here in this fourth quarter.
And Mike, they're giving up shots to take a three. They're looking for threes constantly. Like, score the ball.
This series, Steve Kerr has officially punted Game 6.
Maybe the Rockets. And remember, this
more juice from their bench if you're going to continue. And they got Pajemski, Moody, they got talent, but
To make a sub here, and he's going to play this one through, and you just got to take your time. Do not turn the basketball over and make free throws.
Had their most three-point attempts in Game 6, but their worst shooting night of the series.
Here's Fred VanVleet. Scores the first bucket for the Rockets.
26%, he makes his first two.
No look. And then Thompson got himself some space. Gets around Jimmy Butler and dunks it through.
It certainly was.
VanVleet has not missed from the foul line in this series. Imploring Kevin Scott to start calling fouls on the swipe down of his hand, that injured thumb. VanVleet, silky smooth jumper.
I'm a little surprised.
Draymond, a bad pass. Right off the shoulder of Fred VanVleet. He'll pull up for three in transition. No good.
Great pass by Curry. Jimmy Butler on the run out.
Draymond, a bad pass. Right off the shoulder of Fred VanVleet. He'll pull up for three in transition. No good.
Great pass by Curry. Jimmy Butler on the run out.
He'll pull up for three in transition. No good.
Great pass by Curry. Jimmy Butler on the run out.
Did you have Pat Spencer as your lone ejection in this series?
Well, I think Pat has been the biggest problem in the series. Everybody else has been good. As Thompson rebounds the Fred Van.
A lot of stoppages.
Warriors in this zone. Seems to me, even throughout the playoffs, we've seen a lot more zone period in the league as Fred VanVleet dribbles into a three.
Butler doing all he can to keep the ball out of VanVleet's hands. VanVleet falls down, recovers, missed it, and last touch by Butler. 5 minutes into this second quarter. Thompson, a lot of dribbling here. Butler doing all he can to keep the ball out of VanVleet's hands. VanVleet falls down, recovers, missed it, and last touch by Butler. VanVleet lost the handle. Curry comes away with a loose ball. Warriors up 8 with the ball. Late second quarter, Pajemski finds Curry. Three-pointer, no good. Missed it badly.
Jalen Green did a good job contesting.
11 in the quarter for Buddy Hield.
And at this end, it's the Warriors' time to frustrate the Rockets with the zone defense. They've been in this.
VanVleet trying to answer. Long rebound right back to him. He had a foul as VanVleet and Draymond came together.
Under 2 minutes to go in this first half. And that's going to be a foul. Draymond Green colliding.
So interesting, these lineups right now. Houston going big with the two bigs.
VanVleet wants to push it though. Clock ticks down to 2, and it's blocked by Pajemski. Curry lets it fly, and that'll take us to the end of the first half. This is reminiscent of Game 1. Houston scored just 34 points in that one. The Warriors won that game as Sengun gets it deep. If Golden State prevails. On the ground, VanVleet kept it alive. Thompson out of the pack. Turnover, Jimmy Butler. Here's Sengun, spins, leaves it. No look to the corner. Brooks, no. Long rebound to VanVleet. Eason gets him in the air and a foul. Free throws for Tari Eason. Hield defending VanVleet. VanVleet, tough shot, missed it.
That's great defense by Buddy Hield.
Say Butler, Lauren, thank you. He has unlocked this Warriors team in a significant way. Sengun, patient, able to drop one in.
And look, he's doing it all different ways. We saw the drive. There's a cut for a basket by Curry.
Fred VanVleet, tough shot from the baseline.
in the fourth quarter, just finding ways to get it done.
Amen Thompson has moved to the scorer's table. He's coming in. VanVleet, short. Curry, the rebound. Warriors lead is 12.
Now, though, they're playing a man-to-man, not going zone in the two big lineup.
Butler takes on Sengun. Can't get it to go. VanVleet with a rebound. Thompson closes quickly on Curry. Looks like he's moving well. Pajemski for three, no good. And Green kept it alive for VanVleet. And Butler, one of the great closers in the playoffs, goes to work, sets up Draymond Green, missed it. Ball and an 8-point lead.
Hey, this shot clock's getting down on every possession for the Warriors.
Draymond Green misses a three. 16 for Jimmy Butler. VanVleet, and Hield with the deflection. Hield on the run. And VanVleet pushes Jimmy Butler. 16 for Jimmy Butler. VanVleet, and Hield with the deflection. Hield on the run. And VanVleet pushes Jimmy Butler.
These three guys who've had a lot of success.
Sengun, and now Curry with a steal.
Well, Curry has he's found other ways.
Just put a bow on the Rockets here. This was the year where they won 52 games. They grabbed a #2 seed as VanVleet hits a three.
I couldn't be happier for a guy who I think just put in an incredible amount of effort all year on the defensive end of the floor.